Hello students, welcome to the biology class of 8. Today we are going to learn very important lesson microorganisms, friend and foe. But before we start with this, let us have some discussion. Children, whenever you take milk, before that your mother must be reminding you by telling, अरे बच्चों साबुन से हाथ मुंह तो धो लो, नहीं तो कीटाणु पेट में चले जाएंगे और तुम बीमार पड़ जाओगे. Isn't it? Yes. We all should wash our hands with soap and water before taking meal. Otherwise, disease causing germs may enter our body and we may fall ill. But the point to note is that we cannot see these germs or kitanu as we see other organisms. Isn't it? Actually, these are so small organisms that they cannot be seen by our naked eyes. Okay, they are very tiny. Such tiny organisms are called microorganisms. Micro means very tiny. Okay, now come back to our lesson. In today's class, we are going to learn about major groups of microorganisms and where do they live. Please be very attentive children when the lecture video is going on. So, let's get started. Open the page 23, chapter 2, Microorganisms, Friend and Foe. Here, friend and foe means useful and harmful. How microorganisms are useful and harmful to us. Okay. Now children, just now we have discussed that we cannot see these microorganisms with naked eyes. Then how can we see? Look at the picture given in this page. Here we see the picture of an instrument called microscope. It is a magnifying instrument. Okay. Through this microscope, we can see the enlarged image of the microorganisms. Okay. This instrument helps in the study of microorganisms. Understand children? Now we can define microorganisms as follows. Those organisms which are too small to be seen without a microscope are called microorganisms. Understand? So without the help of microscope, we cannot see these microorganisms. Understand? Now, though we cannot see the microorganisms around us, then how will we know their presence? We can become aware of the presence of microorganisms through their actions like spoiling our food and causing diseases. Understand? You must have heard, no, during summer season especially, that food gets spoiled very quickly. It is because of the action of these germs or microorganisms in the food. All right. So, such type of microorganisms are harmful to us. They can be called harmful microorganisms. Okay. Now, on the other hand, there are some microorganisms like certain bacteria which help in making food products such as curd and cheese. Understand? So when the milk is converted into curd, okay, for example, then there is some bacteria, certain bacteria which convert milk into curd. And as we know that curd is a very nutritious food, so we can also say that some microorganisms are useful microorganisms. They are very useful to us. Okay. Now, let us focus on today's topic, that is major groups of microorganisms. Microorganisms are classified into 5 major groups. These groups are bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and some fungi and algae. Microorganisms may be unicellular, that is single-celled, or multicellular, that is many-celled. Please note children that the singular of bacteria is bacterium, the singular of viruses is virus, the singular of protozoa is protozoan, and fungi is fungus, and That of algae is alga. Okay. Open the page 24. Here we are going to describe each group of microorganisms on the basis of their size and shape. Okay, so let us come to the first group, that is bacteria. Children, let me tell you that bacteria are a unique category of organisms. Unique category of organisms, why? Because they neither belong to plant kingdom nor to animal kingdom. They have their own kingdom. Understand? Okay, now look into the book. Bacteria are very small, single-celled microorganisms which have cell walls but do not have an organized nucleus and other structures. What does this sentence say? This sentence says that bacteria are very small. That is, they are very small. We know only they are microorganisms. Then these are single-celled microorganisms, which means they are unicellular microorganisms. Understand? Which have cell walls, which means the cell is bounded by a wall called cell wall. But they do not have an organized nucleus, which means they do not have well organized, well defined nucleus as we find in other plant and animal cells. In an organized nucleus, children, the nucleus is covered, that is bounded by a membrane called nuclear membrane. Understand? And this bacteria, they do not have other structures in the cell. What are the other structures? Other structures like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria. These structures, which are found generally in other plants and animal cells, are lacking in the bacterial cell. Okay, children, you will learn more about these features of cells in chapter 8 of your book, Cell Structures and Functions. Okay? Yes. Now come to next. Bacteria feed, move and respire as well as reproduce on their own. This means they are living beings. Okay, they are capable of doing all these things, all these life processes as other plant and animal cells do. Okay, yes. Now come to next. There are mainly three groups of bacteria on the basis of their shape. They are spherical bacteria, that is bacteria is spherical shape. Rod shaped bacteria means the shape of the bacteria are rod shaped, and spiral bacteria means the bacteria are spiral shaped. Okay. The two common examples of bacteria are Lactobacillus and Rhizobium bacteria. And both this Lactobacillus and Rhizobium bacteria are rod shaped. Okay. Now the harmful and useful bacteria we will read in the next topic of this chapter. Okay. Now come to next group, viruses. Children, please pay attention. We are going to learn very unique feature about this group. Okay. Now look into the book. Viruses are the smallest microorganisms which can develop only inside the cells of the host organisms, which may be animal, plant or bacterium. Understand? So what is it telling? It is telling that viruses are even smaller than bacterium. Okay, very minute. Okay, and it can develop only inside the cells of the host organisms, which may be animal, plant or bacterium. Now, what do you mean by host organisms? Organisms which provide food and shelter to other organisms are called host organisms. Understand? Now, viruses, they do not show most of the characteristics of living things. For example, viruses do not respire, feed, grow, excrete or move on their own. They just reproduce. So, it is the unique characteristic feature of virus. They do not show any characteristic features of living things. Only one, and that is reproduction. Understand? Viruses can reproduce and multiply only inside the cells of other organisms, such as animal cells, plant cells, or bacterial cells. As long as viruses are outside the living cells, they behave as non-living things. Why? Because they do not show the characteristic features of living things except reproduction. Okay. So, as soon as the viruses enter the living cells of other organisms, they start behaving as living things. How? By carrying out the process of reproduction. Okay. It is due to this reason viruses are said to lie on the borderline dividing the living things from non-living things. Okay? Viruses are the agents of diseases. Most of the viruses they cause disease. Okay? But they are not all bad. Some of the viruses they fight against harmful bacteria and more dangerous viruses and protect our body from their infection. Understand, children? Yes. Now, the two examples of viruses given here in the book are common cold virus and human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV. Now come to the next group, that is protozoa. Protozoa are a group of single-celled microorganisms which are classified as animals. So, this protozoa are group of unicellular organisms, okay, and they are classified as animals. That is, they belong to the animal kingdom, okay. Now, why they are classified as animals? Because they show characteristic features usually associated with animals, especially feeding and mobility. Understand? Okay. Few examples of protozoa are amoeba and paramecium. Look into the figure. We see the picture of amoeba and paramecium. Okay. Open the page 25. Now, let us become familiar with the fourth group, algae. Algae is a large group of simple plant-like organisms. They belong to plant kingdom. Okay. They contain chlorophyll and produce food by photosynthesis just like plants. Okay. So, as they produce food by photosynthesis, we can call them as autotroph also, isn't it? Yes. But they, however, differ from plants. Why? Because they do not have a proper roots, stems and leaves. Okay? Now children, most of the algae are multicellular. This is different from that of the bacteria and protozoa. Bacteria and protozoa are always unicellular organisms, but algae may be unicellular as well as multicellular. Okay. Now look into the figure 4. Here we see two examples of algae. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular alga and Spirogyra is a multicellular alga. Okay. Now let us discuss the fifth group, fungi. Okay. Children, just like algae, fungi are also unicellular as well as multicellular microorganisms. Okay. Now look into the book. Fungi are a large group of organisms which do not have chlorophyll and do not photosynthesize. That means they are plant type organisms. Okay. And but they do not contain chlorophyll. Therefore, they are heterotrophs. Okay. They are considered as heterotrophic organisms. Okay. Then look here, some examples are given. Yeast, molds. Okay, these are the examples of fungi. Children, do you remember we studied about yeast and molds in the in the science book of class 7? Do you remember? Yes, how molds grow on bread and spoil the bread, isn't it? And how yeast reproduce by the process of budding. Do you remember? Okay. Now look into the book. Most of the fungi are saprophytes. Okay. Why they are saprophytes? Because they feed on dead things like remains of dead plants and animals. Okay. Now, likewise, some fungi are parasites. They feed on living things and cause diseases. Children, fungi can be saprophytes as well as parasites. Okay. Now, look, what about their size? We can see mushrooms, toadstools, and puffballs growing on the rotten wood, isn't it? So, how do we see them? The microorganisms through our naked eyes? Actually, children, they are the cluster of millions of fungi growing together. Okay, if we want to see their structure clearly, we have to look them through the microscope. Okay, through microscope only we can study about their structures. Okay, likewise yeast and molds, they can also be seen clearly only through microscope. Now one thing I want to tell you, that all the microorganisms, okay, they always live in cluster. Understand? They are not found in alone. They do not grow independently. They grow in group, in cluster. Understand? Okay. Now come to the next topic. Where do microorganisms live? Microorganisms are found practically everywhere in all types of habitats. They can be found in air, soil, and water bodies like ponds, lakes, wells, rivers, and sea. Okay, they can live and survive in almost all kinds of environment like hot springs, ice cold waters, saline water, desert soil, or marshy land. Okay, actually, children, they very quickly adapt to any kind of environment, whether it is favorable or unfavorable to them. Understand? Not only that, they also occur in dead and decomposed organic matter, okay, like plant and animal matter. Understand? They are present even inside the human body and that of other animals. Children, do you know that bacteria is present in our stomach as well as the gut, that is intestinal gut of our body? Yes, they are present inside our body also. But they are useful bacteria. This we will learn in another chapter. Okay? The microorganisms also lives as parasites on other living things, including us. So they can behave as a parasite also. They can behave as a saprophyte also. Okay? And they can also behave as a symbiote. Okay? So we conclude that microorganisms can live anywhere, everywhere. Sometimes it becomes so difficult to get rid of all these microbes. Isn't it, children? So, children, here we complete our today's class. Hope you liked the video lecture. In the next class, we will learn about useful microorganisms. Till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you, children.